agenda item? Not on the agenda items? All right. I guess we all know why we're here. So, I'd like to just say a couple of things before we vote on the contract, and then the board, after we introduce our new president superintendent, would like to make a few comments before he does. First, I want to thank our search committee. We had a great search committee: Francis Guzman, Cindy Delane, Thea Trimble, Steve Lamar, who was the chairman, Ming Bang, Sharon Black, all from COS. We had community members on it. We had 3 community members, and they were also foundation board members: Mike Roberson from Hanford, Sherry Bell from Tulare, Carolyn Brown from Visalia, and student trustee Jason Chang. And I also want to thank our HR department, John Ratch, and his assistant, Linda Rios, for the great job that they did for our committee meetings, and thank Buckman Mitchell for the use of their facility. Also, I'd like to thank Brent Calvin for his year as our interim. What a tough year, $4.5 million in cuts to our budget, and we appreciate the job that you have done for us. So. Also, talk about the pool, the quality of the pool. Kevin Ramirez, Dr. Kevin Ramirez, who was our consultant, said it was one of the best pool of candidates he's ever seen. I asked John Zumwalt, who's seen this a few times, and Lori what they thought of the pool, and they thought it was the best pool of candidates that we've ever had. So we did a lot. That says a lot about the community, says a lot about the college, the faculty, that people wanted to be here. And so that was important to us. My wife looked at me the other morning, Tuesday morning, and said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, but I'm about to make the most important decision I've made as a trustee." And so with that, I'd like a vote on the motion to approve the contract.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract for Superintendent President with Mr. Stan Carrizosa.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zumwalt.
Aye.
Trustee Carrizosa. Aye. Trustee Mann.
Aye.
Trustee Nunes.
Aye.
President Sherman.
Aye. Please bring Mr. Stan Carrizosa. Let you have the floor. John?
Thank you. I'd like to especially thank the committee for the hard work they did on this process. Well, in the end, our decision was really pretty simple and didn't take us a lot of time. At the same time, the crop of applicants was superb. There were others on that same list that would have made a fine superintendent president of this institution. And if Stan had not applied, we would have been perfectly happy to have appointed only 2 of those. And so the fact that our decision was still easy speaks a lot for what we think of Mr. Carrizosa. His years and years and years of experience as superintendent is going to be very valuable. And I know that we have a fine family here, and we have a very active academic senate who takes their charge seriously. And Stan, I know they'll help you hone your skills as a president of a college, which will be something new to you. Anyway, welcome aboard.
I would just like to say, and I guess I don't want to repeat what John said, but the search committee, thank you. Brent, to you for a hard year. I know you had, but you always were optimistic. You always had a smile on your face, even on those days when I know you didn't want to smile, when we had lunch. And he always left with a positive attitude, and I'm sure all of you out there have seen that in Brent as well. And he's done an amazing job, and it's been a tough year at the college, we all know that, but Brent, I appreciate it as a trustee. Stan, I agree with John, we had a good pool of candidates, and when I was interviewing, I just kept thinking, what is best for the college today? For the faculty we have, for the issues that we have, what type of experience do we need? And I kept coming back to you, and I do believe you have what it takes to lead this institution, not just through the next year, but through the next decade, I hope. So welcome aboard, Stan, and I look forward to working with you.
Any other comments?
Well, I would like to thank all the people out there for the outstanding job you've done this year under the circumstances, and for the support you have given Brent, and I know the support that you'll give to Stan. This was not an easy decision as far as the selection process. The committee did an excellent job, and I want to commend them as Greg has already done so, but yet it was this committee that brought this group to us. And I want to thank you for all of you who served on that committee and supported the committee. And it does show that people can make very good decisions that are not necessarily leaders.
Ken, you want to add anything?
Thanks a lot for letting me. Earl, did you take my script? But seriously, I want to thank all of you that are present here this morning to be with us and as we make this decision. And I agree with what's been said regarding the pool of applicants. This was my first time through, but I was impressed with the candidates we had, and very comfortable with the decision we made. So, Stan, welcome on board.
Okay, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, first of all, to all of you as the board of College of the Sequoias for what really was a rigorous and a thorough process. For me, it was an opportunity to learn and to grow and to be part of my professional development, and to have you actually see the kinds of skills and abilities that you have in me, that you have put your trust in me to be a part of this team. Just incredibly humbled and thankful for that. So I appreciate all the hard work that you put into the process, and that you've given me this wonderful opportunity. I also want to thank Brent, who, as the interim president superintendent in this process, has been communication liaison in the process to help all of us candidates. To John for the work that he did as the person in HR to keep us connected and informed in the process. And honestly, to the other candidates, I think the board is exactly right, that it was a very competitive pool, which makes me feel that much more privileged and humbled to have this opportunity. I guess to the faculty and to the college community, what I want to do is let you know that this is a great opportunity, I think, for my leadership skills and the skills and abilities that I've developed over the years to hopefully be used and be beneficial in a team process for the community college at a time when our whole system is really under a level of stress that we have never probably really experienced before. And I think as we think about how this economic crisis is impacting all levels of the public sector, and we think about the four-year college and university systems having to cap their enrollment and close their doors, if you will, there's lots of need for the role that we play. So even though community college has always been a centerpiece of the K-16 program, I think we could argue now more than ever it's an incredibly critical piece because of the limitations on the other two ends of the system. I do bring a tremendous amount of experience in the K-12 structure. I think to the extent that you all can see and appreciate that as a benefit to bringing that knowledge to the community college for the linkages and the articulation that we do at that level, that's a really positive thing. I suppose the elephant in the room is that I haven't been a president of a community college campus, but I have been a successful principal at the high school level, and I know that they're completely different. And I understand the concepts of shared governance and how that works differently in this system. So that will be the area where I will reach out for your help, your support, your expertise, and your assistance. I'm a quick study. I'm a hard worker. I've faced challenges in my transitions before where I had to learn things that were new to me. I don't know that all of what happens in the president's role is brand new and completely different than the previous experience I've had, but to the extent that it is, I want you to know that I'm going to give 110% of my effort to earn your respect in that area. I don't expect you to be especially impressed with what I say. I think you're going to be much more apt to judge me by what I do and how I act. And that's where I think we're going to build a good, strong relationship. On the superintendent side of the equation, I do have to share that I feel like that's probably the area where I have the greatest strengths. So in terms of managing that part of the organization and in terms of working collectively with this board to do the kinds of things that the superintendent has to do in terms of looking at the big picture, working with the board and the communities that we represent, building that governance leadership team, building a budget, prioritizing a budget, planning for implementing and communicating effective contract negotiations. That's what I live and breathe. And while doing that over a number of years, you have successes and failures up and down as you work through that process. I think the fact that I've been able to do that successfully in 3 different districts over an 18-year period, and you are free to call, which I'm sure you probably already have, or Google anybody you know, and ask about the work that I do in that superintendent role, and you're going to find positive responses. That comes from a consistent, true set of core values and a belief system of working together and building a team. So the superintendency part of it I feel very, very comfortable with, and the learning curve that I'm willing to jump on with you is to understand the operations of a campus at the community college level, and no one will work harder to try to achieve that for you than I will. So I thank you so much for that opportunity. And finally, I just want to say for me personally, for my wife Nancy, this is an opportunity for us to come home. You all know that I spent my whole career, 30 years in education in the Valley. I've had the privilege of being the assistant principal on the campus at Hanford High School, so I know the community of Hanford very well. That was a real attraction for me. I'm principal of Corcoran High School, so it expands my connections in Kings County. In my 10 years as superintendent of Visalia Unified School District, I love getting the opportunity to build relationships with the community of Tulare and the school district there and the staff there, to build relationships with our other surrounding cities, Exeter, Lindsay, Woodlake. So my tentacles, because of 30 years in the Valley, reach pretty far, and I intend to make those real positive advantages for us, because that is the student population in the geographical area that we serve. So the centers that we have underway now, the status of Hanford and the emergence of Tulare and the sustainment of Visalia, they're all important priorities. I'm incredibly excited about the opportunity to start, and I know that you will be patient with me, but at the same time, as I've said, I'm going to work really hard to earn your respect. I'm grateful for the opportunity. It's a chance, as I said, for us to come home a little earlier than we had planned, but I didn't want to let this opportunity pass by. So thank you so much. Thank you to the board for your confidence in me. I promise that I will work hard and I won't let you down. And thank you to the staff for giving me at least the opportunity and the open slate to come in and to connect with you and to earn your respect. And like I said, don't judge me by what I say. Us guys in suits are always pretty polished speakers. Judge me by what I do, and I hope that you will feel a real sense of connection when we have the chance for that relationship. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you and welcome aboard.